The wonderful thing about saber-toothed tigers is saber-toothed tigers are a wonderful thing. Their tops are made out of rubber. Their bottoms are made from a spring. They're bouncy, pouncy, flouncy, trouncy. Fun, 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 fun. But the most wonderful thing about saber-toothed tigers is, well, it's kind of hard to name just one. This is a review for the new 2009-2010 series Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Yellow Ranger from Bandai. This is the third review in this series that I've done. The first being the Red Ranger and the Blue Ranger. This, as you can obviously tell, is the Yellow Ranger. Was two different characters in the show. First was Trini, and then later on Aisha. This Yellow Ranger is kind of an interesting case. I'm not even going to review these bird packs. We've already been over that twice now. Gold plastic, bad. Multicolored stripe, red LED. Moving on. Yellow Ranger here is an interesting case in that I don't really think that they went for lifelike proportions here so much as they went for more Barbie proportions, because I was only like 9 or 10 years old at the time, but I really think I would have remembered if Tui Trang was this curvaceous. She wasn't. Nor was the girl that played Aisha. The proportions are a little outrageous, but you know, I guess I'm okay with it. At least you can tell that it's a female, unlike the Automorphin Rangers from years back that were, well, those were the most masculine-looking women I've ever seen, I have to say. Let's go ahead and take the weapons out here and first review the figure. So this is the yellow Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. One difference, other than the different proportions, is the boots. I've noticed they are more heels now. I don't know if that's just painted higher to look like that, but I can barely tell some sort of detail. It looks like it's molded to resemble high heels. But in the interest of preserving the holes in the bottom of the feet, I think they did away with that and just made it flat bottoms. But it's kind of hard for me to tell. It looks as though there's a molded heel there on the sides. The articulation and joints are generally the same as the male counterparts. You have the 360-degree head swivel. If you want to spray split pea soup everywhere, like in that one Leslie Nielsen movie. That was a pretty funny movie. You know, the arms, you can flap your arms every which way, rotate 360 degrees, bend at the elbows, the gloves spin around backwards to break her arm. You know, the hips and legs joint, the same, along with the knees, and the boot cuffs also rotate 360 degrees. So you have generally the same possibilities and posability as you do with the other Rangers. One thing I did notice about this, where I mentioned with Billy the Blue Ranger and Red Ranger, let's do this proper, that the feet were angled upward toward the middle. These do not seem to be. These seem to be flat feet all across the board. So I guess they want to try to keep her legs together. I'm not going to read too much into that. I just wanted to make a point to let you know the feet are flat. Moving on. The paint applications are pretty well spot on to how the Yellow Ranger was originally. I don't notice any changes in the design like I did with the Blue Ranger's visor. You have the saber-tooth tusk. Let's get a little closer to the camera so you can actually see what I'm talking about here. You've got the saber-tooth tusks painted silver along with the saber-tooth nose. The eyes are black. You have the mouth plate, also silver. The morpher, again, good detail on it. Nice paint application. Probably the best looking morphers out of the Mighty Morphin series we've really ever had, aside from the large role-playing versions. As you can see, to kind of give you an example of the drastic changes they've made in the proportions, it's a little extreme, I think, but I guess I can live with it. At least they did the figure justice in getting the costume right. Of course, you've got the diamonds on the boots and gloves. You've got the black border on the bottom of the boots. And as I mentioned earlier, it turns out I was right. The female Rangers do have the black shoulder joint, just as the red and blue ones do. So it seems that it is a pretty universal joint for the Rangers, at least. I don't have the putties or Goldar to look off of, or Alpha for that matter. So I don't know what type of joints they use. If they use anything similar, if you'll have a black joint in the middle of Alpha's golden arm to take away from that too, it's really something I hope they didn't do to them too. One difference I did notice, and I'm going to bring up, let's do the Blue Ranger. Bring up the Blue Ranger for example purposes, kind of compare and show you what I'm talking about. With the Blue Ranger, you'll notice in the knees, I can get a close shot here without blurring the camera, the knees as well as the elbows, you have rivets, as well as a slap to the face of the Yellow Ranger. However, in the Yellow Ranger, in the female molds, they do not have rivets. None in the shoulder, none in the elbow, none in the knee. I'm thinking it's because the figure is more delicate, because the parts are so much smaller in scale that rivets likely would have broken the parts during assembly, would be my guess. So it looks as though they can detach, as if it's just like a plastic peg of some kind. I don't want to necessarily take it apart, but we've seen this type of joint before in figures. I just didn't expect them to change the type of joints, between the different Rangers. Doesn't really take away from the figure. If anything, it adds to it because it's not as noticeable as the silver rivets are on the male Rangers. So it's more uniform with the rest of the costume. Really? Oh, hey, what do you know? She's got the butt print too. It's not to get too nasty here, but let's get a close-up of that. 12909, same serial number again, as seen on the other Rangers. Again, like I said, I don't know if that may be a release date for the first wave for the collectors, and it's going to change with the later waves or mold variation or something, or if it's just some sort of serial number for the plant and assembly. It's hard to say. Also, you still have the same hole in the back, in between the diamonds there. That is for the bird jetpack thingy, which I'm not going to bother going into any further detail about that. Overall, nice figure. Pretty true to the originals, I think. Comes with 3 accessories, which is rather unique. Comes with both dragon daggers. I kind of wish they had been able to do this with Billy's Power Lance as well, but due to the smaller scale, I think is why they axed it. I'm just going to hold up one. There's no sense in you looking at 2 of the same thing. There's the Power Dagger, such as it is. No connectivity to any of the other weapons. I repeat, they do not combine into the Power Blaster. And here you have the Blade Blaster. Again, same soft black plastic. There's the peg to connect into the hip. It is the... Where's it? Quit falling over. It is the left hip, as you can see here. Pretty well the same thing that we had with the other Rangers, just with a slightly different mold. Good quality, sturdy if you can get the feet level. It's kind of tricky. I'm used to the other feet now, so I'll probably end up using the figure stands to keep her upright. Overall, not bad. I look forward to getting the rest of the Rangers and doing reviews on those as well. This has been Moroni Prime doing yet another review for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. May the power, well, I don't want to say protect you, but may the power get in the kitchen and fix you a sandwich. How's that?